Okay, all right, Sapna. Thanks very much for bringing us this story. Well, let's move on now. Let's get your corporate conversation. Kirloskar Oil Engines, like Manglam was pointing out, it's been quite an outperformer. In fact, that stock has all the way in the past 1 year gone from levels of around 136 odd to 374. So it's a huge mover. Not only on a year-to-date basis has it or rather in the past 1 year, it's gained around 175%, but on a year-to-date basis, which is basically in 2023, it's gained around 16%. To talk more about the company, and remember that it was in the news because it recently saw a major block deal in which the Kulkarni family offloaded stake and exited the company entirely. We have Gauri Kirloskar, who's the managing director of the company, joining in now to discuss all this and more. Gauri, hi, welcome to the show. If you could just explain to us the relationship of the Kulkarni family with the company. Were they co-promoters? What kind of strategic participation did they have in terms of management, and the reason for the exit?
Sure. So the Kulkarni family was part of the promoter group and had equal shareholding as the rest of us. And last year, actually, they stated their interest is to pursue investments outside of the Kirloskar businesses, and therefore stated their intent to depromoterize over a period of time. They exited their stake in Kirloskar Pneumatic and Kirloskar Ferris at the end of last year, and most recently exited Kirloskar Oil Engines as well. So this is an amicable exit, and they have not been involved in the operations or the strategy of the companies for some time now.
Right. Gauri, just wanted to understand that, this was, of course, a deal which was in the works for the longest time. The purchase has been made by a bunch of funds. There's Nippon India, Max Life, DSP, Motilal Oswal, etc. The stated promoter holding by the last reported numbers was 59.42%. They've sold about 18%. So this dilutes the promoter stake as well, keeps it only with the Kirloskars. Were you all not tempted to go ahead and buy this stake? And is there a lock-in for these funds?
No, there's no lock-in for the funds. I'm not sure exactly actually what your question means, but there's no lock-in for the funds. Okay. And, we were comfortable with holding at around 40% is what our shareholding has ended up at. And we're comfortable with that sort of holding at this time.
Okay. So, Gauri, let's talk a little bit about the business. You all have reported a strong amount of growth, especially in your EBITDA in the quarter gone by. Your margins improved all the way to around 11% versus 6 odd percent. What led to that improvement, and can we expect these margins to sustain?
Sure. So actually the stated strategy of the company, which you might have seen, is this 2x 3y strategy, which is our ambition to double our top line and also move towards double-digit margins. So one is, of course, the margin improvement has been due to the volume gain as well, because we're seeing very strong demand in the domestic segment especially, and also on the international side. There are three things that drive margins in our business, and that's actually export sales as the first one. The second is improvement in aftermarket or service sales. And the third is moving into a higher technology or a high horsepower product, which is the areas of focus that we have as of today. In terms of the long term and sustaining these margins, yes, we do hope to sustain these margins and improve these margins over time. That is our ambition. And I feel that with the focus on these three areas, we will be able to see that improvement over time.
Right. Let's talk some specifics with regards to the power generation segment, which grew about 23% in the last, reported numbers that you had. What kind of contribution do you foresee coming from this business? And the second one, that CPCB4 norms, how do they, impact your business going forward? What's the opportunity there?
Sure. So the power gen business today is about 38 to 40% of our overall revenue. And, we've seen very strong economic activity in the domestic market, which has been a tailwind for this business. The order booking actually continues to be strong, and I'd say that our current order board is averaging in the range of 2 to 2.5 times of our monthly execution. So it's a very strong order board, and it's really now about managing our supply chain as well as our execution of these orders. On the end customer segments, I'd say it's really coming from manufacturing, infrastructure. These are where the demands are coming from, as well as supported by telecom as well. On CPCB4, so this is an emission norm transition that is going to happen in July. And we have seen, of course, in emission norms transition years, there are several demand cycles that do play out. So there is a strong pre-buy expected before the emission cutoff date. And we will see that, and we're already starting to see the initial signs of that pre-buy that is expected before CPCB4. There is a significant price hike that is expected from this transition. And so we will see some softening of demand after this emission change takes place, and then we'll see it pick up over time.
And what about your MOU with RITES? What's the scope of growth there?
The MOU with RITES? Yes, okay, sure. So, one of our key focus areas is the international business, as I spoke about earlier. And the MOU with RITES has really been signed to jointly explore business opportunities in areas of railway rolling stock, gensets, and joint development of products for global markets. Both of our organizations have complementary skills, customer bases, and markets that can be leveraged for mutual benefits. So RITES has a lot of expertise in design and development in industrial and infrastructure segments. And KOEL, on the other hand, has proven products and an expanding global footprint. So we're exploring opportunities such as, refurbishment of locomotives or DG requirements that they may have in their international markets. Their team has visited our manufacturing plants as well, and now we're assessing, capabilities on both sides and seeing how we can meet these opportunities that we see.
Okay. All right, Gauri, you're going to leave it on that note. Thanks very much for joining in and speaking with us. Well, during that conversation, we did have some news coming in the pharmaceutical space, where Eris Life is going to be acquiring 9 dermatology brands from Dr. Reddy's for a sum of around 275 odd crores. This is only a part of the dermatology portfolio which is being acquired, so it's not the entire portfolio which is being acquired. The company says it's going to help them augment their cosmetic dermatology business. Now, the FY23 sales of this particular 9 brands up till Feb was around 62.1 crores. This compares to around 61.6 crores in FY22, and FY21 they did sales of around 52.8 crores. It's a small sum, but the larger picture is that Eris is looking to actually augment its dermatology portfolio, because this is the second acquisition in the dermatology space since January. In Jan of 2023, they acquired 9 dermatology brands from Glenmark for over 300 odd crores, for around 340 odd crores to be precise. And this is the second acquisition which has taken place just in the matter of months in the dermatology space in the Indian market. Remember, Eris gets majority of their sales from India, and one of the ways to actually scale up growth in the Indian markets for a lot of companies now is to actually acquire portfolios or brands from other companies.
All right, and as you spoke about Eris, we had the European markets open as well, all of them opening with a gain of almost 1.5% on the frontline indices there. And Credit Suisse is one of the stocks which is seeing a big big after some sort of backstop arrangement was made. So in the pre-open, it was up around 7 odd percent, but now as we speak, it has rallied over tens of percentage points, closer to 40% as I see it right now, though we will need an update on that one too. Take a short break, come back, we focus on Zee Entertainment, a stock which was the biggest gainer in the last 20 minutes or so.